in the straight. Oxano was next. Further back came Cosmic Dude, then Tornado Alert and Speedy King, who's gone disappointingly second last. Mountain of Light last of all.
Well, we talked about that famous name, Red Terror, and look at that. What's happened?
Yes, well, it's been about 70-odd years since that name, I think, would have been used while the race was on, and Red Terror might be quite famous in his own right. The photo for the minor placings, 4 will be the winner, and it's pretty close for second and third between numbers 7 and 5, Running Rich and Point of Honour. Favourite was beaten. He looked to be struggling a bit, but just getting back to what I'd said before, all the place getters in this race came down the outside section of the track. To the outside 3 horses at the moment, and this is significant because Strafed is the 4th one in towards the inside, and I suspect that the going is out better where the 3 place getters have come from, Amy. So I think that may have added to why Strafed didn't run the place.
We're talking about the going as in the track would be better for the horses?
Yeah, the going wouldn't be as cut up or affected. The rail, although it's been placed out 9 metres, there's obviously been quite a bit of traffic on it through the week, and the pattern looked to be emerging earlier on in the day that the further away from the rail the better it was, and we've seen in the last couple of races now that almost all the place getters have come down the extreme outside of the track, or the widest horses in the home straight have been filling the placings, and the favourite wasn't amongst those. He was sort of held up in a bit of traffic, and the jockey probably had no other option but to try and weave through nearer the inside, but that may have contributed to him not finishing as close. There may be a slight advantage to the outside.
So is that something that the jockeys who are racing later on in the day might look at before they prepare for their races?
I would think so, particularly the jockeys that have ridden in these races and came with a horse that has finished in the place getters to know that, gee, it must seem to be better out wider on the track, and especially if they're on horses that can come from the back of the field instead of going for rails runs. I would think that they would be switching them to the outside. Jockeys, they catch on pretty quickly, and I suspect that even in that race they were shifting well away from the rails before they made the home turn, and there's no doubt there's a pattern emerging there, but it's just unfortunate if you back Strafed because the jockey wasn't able to get it into the best spot to take advantage of what could well have been an advantageous position coming down the outside of the track.
That's right. Well, we do have plenty more racing here on Channel 31 this afternoon, and we're going to look at the totes for the next race that's coming up, which I believe is it's the results, actually, not the next race. We'll have a look at the results. It's Red Terror, Point of Honour and Running Rich there, so we did pick those. 4, 5 and 7 being the winners in race 5. With you, joined by Dan Malecki, and of course we are talking about race 6 from Randwick today, the San Miguel Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and of course the farewell race for a champion, Lonhro.
It is. It'll be a much remembered race. I'm sure we've got a lot of people tuned in to watch a farewell of one of the all-time greats, a fantastic record, and this is his swan song today at Randwick. He's had a farewell at Rose Hill and a farewell at Flemington as well, and he's virtually done a tour, and as he does, he picks up Group 1 races along the way, but today this is it. It'll be all over after today's Group 1 event, and like usual, everyone is expecting that Lonhro will win, and win easily.
Excellent, and we are. Well, I mean, there are other horses in the race,
absolutely,
and we should give them
and
a fair go.
good horses too.
That's right, and we should look possibly at the totes and see how they're going to fare today.
Well, Lonhro in the all cerise highlighted colour there, $1.10, which probably would have been expected. Grand Army also expected to be the second favourite, the logical leader in the race, Amy, and I think the horse that really is going to be the hardest to beat. He likes to lead in his races, Grand Army, stepping up to a longer trip. All Gay Waterhouse's horses have performed so well in the Group 1 races, and he is a top horse. Ran second to Lonhro last start. Lonhro did beat him comprehensively, and probably as good as I have ever seen Lonhro go before. You could see bits of the crowd there, and so much cerise just adorned by even a lot of the women there, whether it be a scarf or a hat or whatever it was, but there was a lot of hot pink or cerise colours there.
Definitely. He has become quite a rock star, our Lonhro, hasn't he? He's very popular, and the Australian public have really attached themselves to him as a champion, haven't they?
Well, they certainly have, and it's gained more momentum, I think, during the autumn of this year. I think he's been at the top of his game. He has never been as good as he has been in his last few starts. He has just dominated like he hasn't at any other stage throughout of his career, and his last couple of wins were just super.
So it seems like most people would say it was an inappropriate time to retire a horse who's doing so well, but the owners have decided to put him out to stud.
His worth off the racetrack is just incomprehensible almost, and I think too much could go wrong on the racetrack compared to what he could do off the racetrack, but also serviced the racing industry. His dad was octagonal, so he's been a homebred, but to have another top stallion in the ranks as Lonhro, who almost mirrors his dad octagonal, had very similar looks. There's a lot of attributes that are almost identical, let alone similar. And we'll be seeing some little Lonhros hit the track in a couple of years' time, and I dare say they're going to be the same colour, that dark browny black type that Lonhro has. So if you're getting your hands ready and stretching them out and ready to wave the champ
Cracking
goodbye.
the knuckles, getting them all ready, and the cerise colours are out. Enjoy this race. This is, of course, race 6 from Randwick, the San Miguel Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
How do you feel, Mr. Hawkes? What a moment. What a moment for Australian racing. Kablamo goes in. Jockey climbing back aboard. We're ready to go. It all comes down to this. For Lonhro. A hush coming over the crowd at Randwick. Anticipation. Ready now. Starter about to go to the platform. They're just checking Kablamo. Lonhro standing there beautifully, like an old gentleman. Racing. Fantastic, began nicely off the inside. Ain't said nothing yet, going forward on the outside. Grand Army looks as though he wants to lead on him. Beatman got the champ away okay. He's in 4th place, about 4 lengths off the leader as they go through the first 200. Sound Action is next on the rails, and Kablamo immediately drops to the rear. Going into the back, 1,600 metres to go. Well, Grand Army is getting it very easy at the moment. Grand Army at a jog trot in front, leads by 2 on Pentastic. Ain't Said Nothing, 3rd the outside, 4th the rails. There is Sound Action, followed by Lonhro. He settled beautifully on the bit. He is back 2nd last, now dropping to the rear of the field as Kablamo improves inside of him. There's no speed on. Lonhro's about 6 lengths off the leader, Grand Army. Grand Army taking them along the back. It's Grand Army by 2 on Pentastic. Ain't Said Nothing, 3rd the outside. Sound Action, 4th on the rails. Lonhro, 5th the outside, and Kablamo is last on the inside. Grand Army, he's had a very easy time. He's getting away with a soft lead. And as they head down past the 1,000, Grand Army just increasing the tempo a little bit now, moved away 4 lengths in front. In 2nd position is Pentastic, followed by Ain't Seen Nothing. Sound Action, he hasn't made a move on Lonhro as yet. And last of all is Kablamo. Grand Army is 5 lengths in front now. Darren is starting to go forward. He's giving the champ a little push. He's out about 8 horses wide coming to the home turn, but he's still 6 off the leader, Grand Army. On the home turn now in the Queen Elizabeth. Grand Army straightens up. He's 10 wide. He's 4 lengths in front. Lonhro's coming to the extreme outside. He's chasing Grand Army now. Kablamo's over on the rails. Then Sound Action. Grand Army topping the rise. 3 in front of Lonhro. Lonhro's stretching. He's straining on the outside, but Grand Army's well clear of him. I don't think Lonhro can do it. Grand Army, he got away with an easy lead, and it was too much for Lonhro. Grand Army goes to the wire, wins by 4 lengths. Lonhro 2nd, Pentastic 3rd, 4th Kablamo, then Sound Action, and Ain't Seen Nothing.
Well, just a little bit disappointing. We are saying farewell to a champion of Australian racing in Lonhro, but Grand Army was victorious in this race today.
Yes, he was, and he's a top horse in his own right. He's been runner-up in 2 Group 1 races at his last 2 starts. Been allowed to dictate in front, and it just meant so much and made it so much harder for Lonhro to make up the ground when such a good horse is in front and had such an easy run and had such a big lead. Lonhro didn't have another horse to bring him up to him. But with due respect, 100 to go, I think the horse knew he couldn't win, and in the end he was only about a length in front of the 3rd horse. But his form leading up to this, I would think, were better performances than this. However, Grand Army is a very, very good horse, and it's that lady again, Gay Waterhouse. And Lonhro doesn't go out a winner. And it's also a race that's provided some upsets in the past, and it hasn't quite been the farewell to a lot of horses that have bowed out in years gone by. Intergaze, I know, spoiled the party in about 1999. But Grand Army was a long way in front, turning for home. He did make up some ground, Lonhro. You notice how wide they went on the track. Lonhro was still in the right part of the going, but the gap between he and the leader was just too big, considering the leader had such a good run.
That's right. And they did start out very slowly, didn't they, coming out of the barriers? And we noticed Grand Army had the ears pricked. He looked like he was just enjoying himself out there.
He was. It was nothing more than a track gallop. The first probably 1,200 metres. Then they gradually picked it up. And because Danny Beasley, who was riding the lead horse, he was able to dictate. So nothing else put pressure on him. Beasley was able to up the tempo at a time he thought was appropriate. Nothing brought Lonhro into the race, and just that 6-length gap, it was too much. And unfortunately, it was just the circumstances of the race and not quite the finale that I think either we expected or hoped for. Yeah,
unfortunate that. Well, we'll have a look at some totes there from Royal Randwick.
Well, the value would be there with Grand Army winning the race, 2, 1 and 3. And Fantastic was a fantastic performance in third position. He was actually picking up ground on Lonhro, but I suspect that Lonhro, the horse himself, let alone the jockey, knew that it was a forlorn task with 100 left to travel. So he didn't really get to the line that strongly, Lonhro, but the damage had pretty much been done. Grand Army, $6.40 and $2. $1.10 is the place dividend for Lonhro, and no third dividend for Fantastic. So that $5 million wager went astray, and not meaning to laugh about that, but they often say that all good things must come to an end, and it's come to an end in more ways than one today.
It certainly has, and Lonhro looks forward to a long and illustrious career as a stud out on the farm out there with the Im family.
Yeah, he'll be enjoying himself with some lovely ladies next season, I'm sure, and we can all expect to see, like his dad before him, Octagonal, produce some champions not too far down the track. So Varley today, and for a fantastic career for a marvellous horse, just the excitement that it was able to generate for a race like today, even though he got beaten, but he can still be applauded as one of the best we've seen for quite a while.
Certainly, and not only getting excitement for creating excitement for the race today, but also for racing in general. It's good to have a rock star, a pinnacle, someone to focus on.
So good, and that's why I can only hope that Dance Hero might be the horse to take over from the mantle. He's got a bit of work to do, don't get me wrong there, but there's nothing like having a superstar or a champion at the horse races, whether it be a Might and Power or a Let's Elope or a Better Loosen Up, a Lonhro and Octagonal, and there's quite a list there, but they really don't come along that often, and we must appreciate them while we're there. Maybe Dance Hero's the next one to step it up. A Sunline, a Northerly, all those sorts of horses. Quartet of what I call good horses.
Sydney Schweppes Cup.
Bill Cooper about to send the Sydney Cup field on their way. We're set now. Ready for the Schweppes Sydney Cup. Racing. Grey Song began nicely near the inside. Mummify was fast away. Stadium going forward, so too is County Tyrone in the early stages. Special Scene is handy. Pantani's a little wide coming up towards the home turn the first time, but he's going to third. Stadium now drops back to fifth, just behind Mummify. Mummify getting into a lovely trailing position. Courting next in the centre. Grey Song the rails. Farwaz the outside. Mackay Diva drops back to second last, and last of all, Manawa King. Coming around the home turn the first time. They've got 2,600 metres to go. And Oliver goes to the lead on County Tyrone. He immediately puts him back on the bit, and it's County Tyrone showing the way. Farwaz is going to second on the outside. Pantani is third. Mummify getting a lovely run. He's right on the heels of County Tyrone. He is fourth on the rails. Special Scene and Stadium next. Special Scene on the outside of Stadium. Well back in the field is Grey Song racing in company there with Courting, and then Manawa King, and the Melbourne Cup winner Mackay Diva is last of all. They go to the turn out of the straight. 2,100 metres left to go in the Sydney Cup. County Tyrone trying for an all-the-way win. Can he do it? It's County Tyrone, a length and a half in front of Farwaz. Third on the rails is Mummify, followed by Pantani. Fourth the outside, fifth the rails is Stadium. One further back then to Special Scene outside of Grey Song. Grey Song's about 6 off the leader. Courting outside of Mackay Diva. She just improved a shade there. She's second last on the inside. She's right on the heels of Grey Song, and Manawa King is last of all. They're going up towards the 1,600 metre point. They're about to swing into the back, and Pantani dashed around County Tyrone to go to the lead. He wasn't happy with the speed, so he let him go, and Pantani's gone to the front. A change coming over the Sydney Cup race as they head into the back, and Special Scene is another leader. Special Scene dashed up on the outside of Pantani to go to the front. Ahead away third is Farwaz, followed on the outside by Mummify. He was quick to ease off the rails on Mummify. Going forward is Stadium, and all of a sudden County Tyrone finds himself back sixth on the rails. 200 metres back, he was in front. Grey Song is off the rails, starting to move forward now. Mackay Diva, third last on the inside, then Courting, and Manawa King is last of all. 1,000 metres left to go. And as they come down the side, Special Scene leads by a neck. In second place is Pantani, but Pantani is accelerating up along the inside of Special Scene again. The stablemates Farwas and Stadium going forward on the outside. County Tyrone is tracking up behind them, followed by Mummify. Then Mackay Diva on the inside. Grey Song is back third last with Manawa King, and Courting's last of all. Coming up towards the home turn in the Sydney Cup. They've got 500 metres to go. Pantani shot to the front again. It's Pantani in front. Oliver taking a gamble on County Tyrone. He went through on the inside, and Boss is following up behind him on Mackay Diva. Now as they've topped the rise, County Tyrone has gone to the lead. Mama Five's launching a big claim down the outside, and here comes Mackay Diva. She's flashing through on the inside. Mackay Diva's hit the front. Mackay Diva in front. On the outside, County Tyrone trying hard. Manawa King is flashing home at the end. Mackay Diva's in front. You've done it again, bossy boy. Mackay Diva first, Manawa King second, Mummify third, County Tyrone fourth. Then Grey Song, Courting, Farwas and Stadium. Next in, Pantani and Special Scene, the last one over the line in the Sydney Cup.
Mackay Diva coming home victorious there in race 7, the Sydney Cup.
And probably defied a bit of the pattern with it weaving through nearer the inside, Amy, and Glenn Boss, when a jockey's on fire, they're on fire, and he's had a fantastic week and mightn't end there yet because he's got Private Steer in the next Group 1, the all-aged. Fantastic win. Melbourne Cup, Sydney Cup. I tell you what, she's rewritten the record books. I think Galilee might have been the last horse in about 66, 67 to win the Melbourne Cup and then the Sydney Cup. So Galilee was probably one of the greatest stayers of all time. So Mackay Diva is in that sort of category. Great ride. Wonderful mare. She's got a fantastic record. Mummify battle on well under his big weight. Manawa King, he's the find for the future. He was jumping up a lot in class, and he didn't have the best of runs down the straight. Look how tight it got there. That's the problem when the biased track becomes evident. You know, horses all crunch into one another. And I've found something about Grey Song. He can't get 2 miles. He's had a few cracks at it now in the Melbourne Cup. He didn't find the last 200, and he didn't today, Grey Song. I think he's more of a 2,400 metre horse because he was in a winning position at the 300 metres. But what a wonderful mare, Mackay Diva, to take it out. And Let's Elope's son, Courting, was back in the field. It probably struggled a little bit. He was up in class today, but she's a fantastic mare. To be able to do that, the records books suggest that it is so hard to be done, a Melbourne Cup and then a Sydney Cup. David Hall's a wonderful, wonderful trainer, and he's done a great job in getting this mare, not just to win a Melbourne Cup and a Sydney Cup, but to look after and perform so well. She's only had about 18 starts. It's just fantastic. It was a gutsy win, great ride from a jockey who's in terrific form, and the one to watch, I think, the stayer of the future, the runner-up. What a career he might be able to have, even this far in advance of the Melbourne Cup. So we know how many months away that is, being in November. Manawa King, the horse that ran second in this year's Sydney Cup, number 9, already I would anticipate he'd be one of the favourites for the Melbourne Cup on that unbelievable performance.
What does that mean?
Well, some horses might just be nervy. Some horses can heat up. They're obviously all different. But a horse that can sweat up, particularly with the gear that's around them sometimes, and obviously the hot of the day, they can lather up a little bit. And if there's an excess amount of whether it be sweat or something that might be around parts of the gear, you don't want it to get too slippery, and you often see saddles slip, and you see the adjustments of saddles when they go to the barriers. All these sorts of things have got to be taken into account before they get into the horse stalls, because there's no turning back once they jump. So they want to make sure that everything's right. They might towel down the rein so it doesn't get too slippery. You want to lessen the excuses. The most amount of excuses you can get rid of prior to the start of the race, obviously the better chance you're going to have during it. Now going up is Recurring, who won at big odds last start. It starts from the outside gate. Gerald Ryan trained mare. Private Steer, the favourite, in the dark blue and yellow Lightning Bolt.
Oh, can he do it with Private Steer in this one? Clark's of the course just reversing.
Hang on. Get up. Side. Hang on, Billy.
Started to the platform.
It's going to lead her up, please, mate. Laying all over me. Hang on, hang on. Get up.
Movement in close. Maybe Ancient Song. Racing. Near the inside, Brave Flyer hesitated. Missed it 2 lengths. Hasner beat them out. Going quickly as Mystique in the early stages. Private Steer began okay, but she's drifting back. Our Egyptian Rain breaks out of the pack and goes to the lead. Yells to second, Ancient Song to third. Hasner fourth, then to Fire. He's pretty handy. He's going up to be 5th on the outside of Mystique. then Brave Flyer on the rails, a length further back then to Victory Vane. Out a little wide is Fair Embrace, and Private Steers last of all. She's 6 to 8 lengths off the leader. Heading down the side now, they've got 800 metres to go. Our Egyptian Rainers are half in front, Yell second. Ancient Song is 2 lengths away third, followed by Defier. He's starting to go forward. Hasner's in a nice handy position. Mystegic is next, then Brave Flyer. Fair Embrace is well back in the field, followed by Victory Vane, and Private Steer is last. He's in a little bit of traffic. I think he'll have to take a punt on the inside as they straighten up. Our Egyptian Rain straightens for the judge now. They've got 500 metres to go. Our Egyptian Rain in front of Yell. Hasner coming to the outside. Boss going back to the inside on Private Steer. Ancient Song finishing off strongly, then Defier. They've topped the rise now. 200 metres to go. Our Egyptian Rain in front. Private Steer is flashing up at the inside. It's just in front here. Our Egyptian Rain. Private Steer's coming at her now. Our Egyptian Rain just in front of Private Steer. Private Steer lunge! What a run! She's got there. She's got there, Private Steer. She's won it. Private Steer has beaten our Egyptian Rain. Yell and Defier just behind them. Then Hasner, Ancient Song, Brave Flyer, Mystegic, Victory Vane, and Fair Embrace, the last one over the line.
There we go, Glenn Boss having some sort of day out there today at Randwick, really. And we noticed that all the horses did move out to that outside, didn't they? They
did, bar Glenn Boss. Towards the end of the race, obviously he did, but he saved the many lengths on the inside. Look, the horse wasn't, I don't think it was going well. It couldn't have won if it had to come around the outside, Amy. And they say when you're hot, you're hot. And G Boss is just, they're burning embers falling off his back at the moment. He is on fire. Around at this point, you know, he's not in the picture. He's over on the inside, not in the picture. Yell got a bit of a check at this point. Our Egyptian Rain giving plenty. Hasner, Defier looked a chance. Then we've got Private Steer shifting outwards towards the end. Obviously interferes with Ancient Song there, which wasn't going well enough. But she wanted to find the line, Private Steer. She ducks out, but really didn't interfere with anything towards the end and finishes close up towards the outside rail. It was a fantastic effort. Look, to be truthful, I think it was more luck than anything else, G Boss, because his 2 rides have pretty much defied the racing pattern today by saving ground on the inside and then sort of coming down the centre of the track. But he's got there. And I think you might find a few jockeys might try and plot that course for the next race. Still well off the track, but oh, look, he's on fire. What a fantastic mare. She won the Doncaster earlier in the week, so this is 2 Group 1 wins in about 5 days for her, which is fantastic.
And Glenn Boss, yeah, he must have had his wheat bix this morning, probably.
What a day.
So, a very exciting day. It must be quite strenuous for a jockey with so many races, and especially in the mental strain, actually having to strategically plan all the races.
Oh, absolutely. And in a position with Private Steer, similarly to the Doncaster last week, she looked to be in a hopeless position rounding the home turn. He had no alternative. There was no option to go to the outside. She wasn't going well enough. She would have to cover more ground. He had to sneak through along the inside, similar to what he did today, and then she just wanted to get to the line in the last 50 metres, exactly like today. And I'm sure any jockey that is having a good run, like G Boss is at the moment, be very thankful for these quality horses he's been riding. And let's face it, Private Steer and Mackay D, they're 2 of the best of either the sprinting or staying brigade that we've got anywhere in the country at the moment. I'm sure he'll be a very privileged man to be on both horses.